Great to see you on this Sunday morning. It's not even the end of the month yet, but this July is already the hottest month ever, ever on Earth. And despite it being the middle of winter, I didn't really need to hit you, did I? Records are being broken here in Australia as well.
Now, Sydney has just recorded the most consecutive days over 20 degrees in July. That is pushing the average temperature for the month well above the long-term norm. And Brisbane's on track for a July weather record too.
In Europe, summer temperatures have reached record highs in several countries, including Britain, France, Belgium, the Netherlands and Luxembourg. So why is it happening? Dr. Lyndon Ashcroft is a climate science expert at the University of Melbourne, and Lyndon is with us this morning. Good morning to you. Let's start with Australia, Lyndon. Sydney is already up nearly 1 degree on the long-term July temperature. How significant is that?
Oh, look, it is pretty significant. We have seen warming for much of Sydney over the last few decades, really. Sydney's record goes back 160 years. Okay. Observations started in Observatory Hill in 1858. But to have these 8 days above 20 degrees and at least 12 days for July above 20 degrees, with probably 20 degrees being hit today and tomorrow as well, that's a pretty significant record.
Yeah, we are in the middle of winter, of course. Brisbane, just 0.2 of a degree from a July record with 24 degrees forecast for tomorrow and Tuesday. It looks like they'll get there too. Lyndon, can we blame changing weather patterns for this, or is this very clearly just a warming climate?
Well, this is a bit of an interesting one, I think. At the moment, what we have from a climate and weather system point of view is we've got cooler than normal ocean temperatures off the northwest coast of Australia and warmer than normal ocean temperatures a little bit further west towards Africa.
All right, we've seen the pictures from Europe during the week, Lyndon. They are going crazy over there. They don't know how to handle this hot weather. Am I right in saying Europe's record heat is with the hot winds blowing in from the Sahara Desert? Is that the cause, and is that unusual if so?
Well, these heat waves that we're seeing across Europe, like you said, records have been broken across all sorts of countries, and crazy records as well. Temperatures being broken day after day. And, it is unprecedented, but sadly it's not unexpected. The science has been telling us that heat waves will be and are already becoming hotter and stronger and longer and more frequent because we've got a system now that is about 1 degree warmer than it was a century ago. So when you get that Sahara weather system happening, it's going to pack a lot more punch.
And is that because of people-made change?
Because people have made change. I'm sorry, Mon, what do you mean by that?
So, I mean, is this climate change?
Oh.
Are humans responsible for what is happening now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish I had a nicer answer, but unfortunately, pretty much.
Because it was interesting to see overnight or yesterday, the head of BHP made a really extraordinary speech in London where he said, where he talked about climate change and saying, look, the science is actually irrefutable and they're putting a huge amount of money now into trying to help even their customers to become better at dealing with climate change. And this is coming from one of the greatest emitters. So, I mean, that's pretty significant, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not a politician or a business person, but that is pretty significant and quite positive to hear as well, that people are realising just how irrefutable it is and how present it already is. I mean, we've already seen this happening now in these temperatures, both in the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere, and it doesn't bode that well for our summer coming up either.
Dr. Lyndon Ashcroft, you don't need to be an expert to know it's a bit warmer than it has been normally. Thank you for joining us on Weekend Sunrise.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Well, we should point out, shouldn't we? I mean, in some places it's been quite cold. So we often say, don't we, when we talk about the weather in our country, it's an amazing country. It's a big place. And trying to put your finger on any one phenomenon is always very difficult.
Yes, all right. Thank you, Lyndon, very much. It is time for news now. Here's Sal.